If you are conversant with Mexican drug lords and cartels, you must have heard about La Reina del Pacifico, or the Queen of the Pacific. Known by many and respected by drug lords, Sandra Ávila Beltrán is a legend whose name will never die, as long as the tales of drug lords continue to be told. In today's video, we are taking a look at the life of this drug queen from the very beginning to her rise to fame and fall from grace. This is the tale of the Queen of the Pacific. Sandra Ávila Beltrán is a third-generation drug trafficker born into a family of various cartel leaders. Sandra was born on October 16, 1960, in Baja California, to María Luisa Beltrán Felix and Alfonso Ávila Quintero. Her father, Alfonso, had family ties with former leader of the Guadalajara cartel, Rafael Caro Quintero. Sandra's connection to cartel leaders didn't end with her father's side. In fact, she had more connections from her mother's side. Sandra is in some way related to the Beltrán Leiva brothers, who were former leaders of the Sinaloa cartel, aka Federation. Ávila Beltrán is also the niece of Miguel Ángel Felix Gallardo, a cartel leader and godfather who is currently serving a 40-year sentence for his involvement in the murder of a U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration special agent in 1984. Juan José Quintero Payán is Sandra's great-uncle, who was extradited to the United States on drug trafficking charges. The Beltrán family started smuggling heroin in 1970, so Sandra Ávila Beltrán had all the family help and advice she needed to succeed in the trafficking business. In her youth, Sandra dated many famous drug lords and got married twice. Her husbands were both ex-police commanders who left the force and joined the drug trafficking business. Both died at the hands of hired assassins during drug wars, but Sandra somehow survived. According to the police, her rise to power in the drug world started with her romantic relationship with popular Colombian drug dealer Juan Diego Espinosa Ramirez, also known as the Tiger. He is said to be an important figure in the Colombian Norte del Valle cartel, and Avila's relationship with him made her an important connection between Mexican cartels and Colombian cartels. For many years, Ávila Beltrán smuggled cocaine in a fleet of tuna boats that traveled from Manzanillo to California. Ávila built a strong cover for her business by fronting as a wealthy homemaker who earned her living by renting out properties and selling clothes. Her cover-up was so good that the authorities never suspected her of being a drug dealer. Controlling large shipments of cocaine and smuggling them in and out of Mexico through the Pacific Ocean is probably what got her the title, Queen of the Pacific. As a drug trafficker, being able to protect herself was paramount to Ávila, and she was very good at it. Her confidence in her ability to protect herself gave her the boldness to walk on the streets wearing a gold pendant studded with 83 rubies, 228 diamonds, and 189 sapphires. She was also known to carry suitcases filled with millions of dollars without fear. Ávila's perfect cover was blown in 2002 when her son was kidnapped by a rival gang who demanded $5 million in ransom. She contacted the authorities for help, but later paid the ransom in full. She got her son back, but at the same time, raised the suspicion of the police. How could a homemaker afford such an amount of money? This question led the police to launch an investigation into her. After 4 years of investigation by 30 federal agents, Sandra Ávila Beltrán was finally arrested along with her lover Juan the Tiger Espinosa in September 2007 in Mexico City. She was charged with and convicted of laundering money for billions of dollars worth of drugs smuggled from Colombia to Mexico, organized crime, and conspiracy to commit drug trafficking. 9 tons of cocaine found by the police on a ship in the Pacific port of Manzanillo, Colima in 2001 was later traced back to Ávila Beltrán and her lover. Ávila Beltrán loved being called a queen and always carried herself as one. She was able to convince the federal agents who came to arrest her to allow her to retouch her makeup because she wanted to look good for her mugshot. At one of her hearings in Mexico, Ávila said, "It's nice to be called a queen." In a tape of her police interrogation, Ávila describes herself as a housewife who earns a little money on the side, selling clothes and renting houses. When asked if she knew why she was being arrested, she said, "Because of an extradition order to the United States." Some charges against her were later dropped, but she was still detained for possession of illegal weapons and money laundering. She was imprisoned at the Santa Marta Catitla Women's Prison in Mexico City. During her stay there, Ávila filed a complaint with the Mexico City Human Rights Commission, saying her cell had insects and that the ban on bringing in food from restaurants violated her human rights. In January 2011, Ávila received a Botox injection treatment. This is a therapy that inmates are not allowed to have. An investigation was launched into the matter, and eventually, the prison's director and hospital chief were relieved of their duties. Ávila was extradited to the United States on August 10, 2012, on criminal charges by the U.S. government. She denied the charges, and as part of the plea deal, she stated that she provided financial assistance for travel, lodging, and other expenses to Espinosa from 2002 to 2004. Ávila Beltrán was immediately deported back to Mexico, where she was sentenced to 5 more years in prison. She was imprisoned at the Federal Social Readaptation Center No. 4 Federal Prison in Tepic, Nayarit. She spent a total of 7 years in prison, and 2 of those were spent in isolation. Ávila was released in February 2015 and now lives a quiet life in Guadalajara, Mexico. Sandra Ávila Beltrán is popular among drug traffickers as a connection to Colombia and her ability to use violence and brute force when she found it necessary. But to the masses, the Queen of the Pacific is popular for various reasons. Many books, songs, and TV shows have been based on Sandra Ávila's life. The author of the book La Reina del Sur, Arturo Pérez Reverte, said that the story of his heroine Teresa Mendoza is partly based on Sandra Ávila Beltrán's life. The book, The Queen of the Pacific, Time to Talk, was written based on a series of prison interviews Ávila Beltrán herself gave to a Mexican journalist, Julio Scherer. Los Tucanes de Tijuana wrote a folk ballad that pays homage to Sandra Ávila as a top lady who was a key part of the business. Los Tigres del Norte wrote a song called La Reina del Sur, based on the story of Arturo Pérez Reverte's fictional character, Teresa Mendoza. In the TV series El Cartel, Ávila is portrayed as Andrea Negrete, a character played by a Mexican actress, Patricia Mantereola. In the Netflix series Narcos Mexico, the character Isabela Bautista, portrayed by Teresa Ruiz, is also based on Ávila. 2 TV shows have been created based on the novel La Reina del Sur by Arturo Pérez Reverte. They are La Reina del Sur and Queen of the South. Sandra Ávila Beltrán has recently sued Netflix and Spanish TV outlet Telemundo for using her image to promote a series based on her life without her approval. According to her lawyer Israel Razo, she is looking to obtain 40% of all revenue made by the 2 companies from the Queen of the South series, a series that has aired every week for 11 years. In April 2019, Telemundo used news footage of her arrest to promote the 2nd season of the series. In the suit documents, Ávila stated, "When they used my image and my name to refer to the Queen of the South, they sought to increase the morbid curiosity of the public and to obtain a financial benefit from it." The total amount of the claim hasn't been clarified, and Razo says that both Netflix and Telemundo have been very sneaky when it comes to sharing the revenues made from the show. Aside from the suit, Ávila Beltrán has been featured in Mexico's most famous podcast. She now has a TikTok account and is now posting on Instagram. She also recently accused former Mexico President Felipe Calderón of working with drug traffickers. "I want to say that Felipe Calderón did a lot of harm to a lot of people, like me," she said. "I suffered a lot in prison, lost many loved ones, but he was the one collaborating with all the narcos." Needless to say, Sandra Ávila is one of the few female drug traffickers who made a name for themselves in Mexico. And that's all we have on the Queen of the Pacific. Do remember to like and subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos like this. See you in the next one.